Hello, my dear friends. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing EB-2 National Interest Waiver Visa with other visas that exist out there. And I will let you know what are the advantages and disadvantages and what are the differences. At the end of this video, you will be able to learn how to get a free evaluation of your EB-2 NIW visa. Let's go. Okay, why I'm making this video? Because for some of you, it's like, okay, duh. I know what's the difference. I know this and that. I don't need that. Well, maybe you do know, but because I'm reading your comments, guys, under all of my videos, and I answer them personally. So make sure if you answer a question or you comment, it will be myself who's going to answer you. I saw one of the comments that actually is hitting the bullseye, and that was like, well, Stanislav, how do you determine which visa is better for a client, EB-2 NIW or maybe EB-1A, when the criteria for those visas are almost the same? And I was like, wow, after all these years, guys, I've been explaining to you what a talent visa is, what's NIW and other visas. Like, I'm reading those comments. Probably it's time just to refresh what's the difference between EB-2 NIW and mostly the talent visas, because that's where I can see the confusion could be coming from. Because if I compare EB-2 NIW with EB-2 or EB-3, there is nothing in common, right? Because EB-2 and EB-3, they're classic immigrant visas where you have to deal with Department of Labor and do the PERM certification. It's also called labor certification, so there is no similarities, and you have to have an employer. The EB-1A visa and EB-2 NIW visa are the only two visas. You can get a green card, but you do not have to have an employer. And that's pretty much the only commonality between these two visas. Everything else is completely different. But let's take a step back. In short, what is NIW visa? And if you want more details, please watch this video where I describe in details the criteria, what I need to do, and the education requirement and all that. In short, EB-2 NIW is a visa for professionals in the field with a higher education or exceptional ability skills. So you need to be either with a bachelor's degree and 5 years of experience in your specialty, or a master's degree, 0 requirement for the experience, or if you don't have any education, you can pre-qualify with the exceptional ability. There are 6 criteria. You have to satisfy at least 3 of them. And then you have to have a proposed endeavor, a proposed project in the US that has a substantial merit and national importance. In other words, the United States has to have interest in your project. And that way, you will be getting approval for EB-2 NIW. And Stanislav, where do I get my proposed project? How do I know if my proposed project is good or not? The best place to find your proposed project is your past and present. Because whatever projects you had in the past, whatever you've been doing up till now or you keep doing, you can translate it in a proposed project in the future in the US and claim it. And it's very important to use your past and present experience, because without that, we will not be able to prove the criterion of you being well positioned to implement your proposed project. And well-positioned criterion is one of the criteria in this visa. So basically, you have to have the relevant experience in the past to show that you will be able to use it in the future. That's, in short, in a nutshell, is EB-2 NIW. And I have plenty of videos on YouTube, on this channel, where I break down each separate criteria. I explain it from different angles. Please watch the playlist for EB-2 NIW. Once you have your approval for EB-2 NIW, it's basically the same process. Yes, there could be some queue, there could be some wait line for consulate processing, but that's just a matter of time. You just need to wait, and then you go to the embassy, you get your visa stamped and the passport for you and your family, and you come to the States with the green cards. Let's compare it to the talent visas. And the talent visas are EB-1A, that's the number one. And of course, there's O1, O1A, and O1B. Those are non-immigrant work visas. And those visas have the number of criteria. And let's talk more about EB-1A because it's also a green card. That visa has 10 criteria. You have to satisfy at least 3 of them. And mind that you do not have to be a Nobel Prize winner, you don't have to be a global recognition, everybody knows you and things like that. No, you just have to be a good professional in your field and some recognition, okay? On a national level, some prizes, some awards, maybe you have some press about you, you work in some good companies, you're making good money. So all those are the criteria for this visa. So we have to have at least 3. And it's not like in NIW when we have to satisfy all the criteria, okay? We have like 5 or 6 depending how you look at it, and we need to satisfy all of them. The education, well-positioned, your experience, your proposed project, national interest, and there is some more. In EB-1A, it's not like that. You pick and choose those that you satisfy, and if it's more than 3, you're already good. Yes, there are 3 stages of analysis for EB-1A. That's the objective, so 3 criteria out of the 10. Then the subjective, overall merits, in other words, where the immigration officer looks at everything, the totality of the circumstances, they say, and trying to understand if all of the recognition that you have raises you to the top of your profession. Once he determined that, then he switches to the 3rd stage. And in the 3rd stage, he needs to understand if you're going to bring the benefit to the USA. The confusion that you might have that EB-2 NIW and EB-1A are kind of the same visas may be stemming only from one thing. And that thing is the exceptional ability part in the EB-2 NIW in case if you do not have the education. Because the exceptional ability is the substitution for your education. That's not what we have to prove in any EB-2 NIW case. In that part, exceptional ability, there are criteria, and they're kind of similar to EB-1A, but still different, okay? But I guess when you read it on a USCIS website, or maybe someone who doesn't understand, trying to explain, you get that impression that, oh, okay, there are criteria here, some abilities, okay, ability here, ability there. Well, the difference is the extraordinary ability in EB-1A and exceptional ability, and they're completely different as to the use of them. So don't be confused. EB-2 NIW is your past experience translated to the future proposed project that's in the national interest of the US. EB-1A is your past recognition and your benefit to the US in the future. Okay? And that's very different, the way you structure the petition, the way you build the evidentiary base, the strategy, how you're going to tackle that. Those are very, very different visas. Like I said, the only thing that's in common for both of them, let's make it 2. Number 1 is a green card. So both of them gets you the green card. And number 2 is none of these visas requires an employer in the US. Yes, you can still use an employer and it will make it stronger, but none of them requires such an employer. And when I say requires, that meaning that you have to, you must have the employer. No, you don't have to, you must not have one, all right? So bear that in mind. And also, it's very important to understand that from my perspective, from my experience doing those visas for years and filing hundreds and hundreds of these cases, is that EB-2 NIW is much easier than EB-1A, and it's much less work on that visa, especially on your side. From my side, it's still a lot of work. But from your side, it's so much less, okay? Maybe twice as less. So that's another difference between these 2 visas. The only thing I can think about where we could have some similarities is probably between O1 visa and EB-2 NIW. And O1, yes, it has the similar criteria to EB-1A, but because it's so much easier to get O1, and a lot of times if you can get EB-2 NIW, you may have a pretty good chance to get O1 and then requalify for EB-2 NIW in the future. That yes, but your question is like, well, Stanislav, why would I do O1 if I can qualify for EB-2 NIW, which is a green card? Well, the answer is much simpler than you think, because to get from the time you start working on your O1 visa till the time you will enter to the US, and I'm talking about my company, about 8 months will pass. And that's relatively fast for any kind of immigration move. If we talk about NIW, that could be 1.5 years, it could be 2 years. So if the speed is a matter of the essence for you, you may do O1 first, and then you may file in the future for EB-2 NIW. That's the strategy sometimes I apply for my clients who tell me, hey Stanislav, I need to come in as soon as possible. I see that the person doesn't qualify for EB-1A, maybe they qualify for EB-2 NIW, but we can make O1 happen. That's the only way I can see that this going this way. Now, if you think I may qualify for NIW, and maybe you're watching my other videos about talent visas, you can get a free evaluation of your case. And that means that you will get a free consultation from me, from Stanislav Shamayev, a licensed attorney, something that other attorneys are going to charge you $300, $400, $500. What you need to do, you go down below this video in the description and you find the links: free evaluation, talent visa, NIW visa, maybe even business or investment visas, and you fill out those forms. You click on the link, you fill out the form, you submit it, and within 48 hours, I will give you the first qualification, the initial analysis of your visa, and it will be absolutely free. And if I see the potential in your case, I will tell you, hey, John, hey, Julie, come to the complex immigration planning where I will create a written strategy of filing your immigrant or non-immigrant petition. Make sure you smash the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I release 2 videos every week, and this is the best content among other immigration attorneys. Also subscribe to my Instagram, to my TikTok, and other platforms. The links are below this video. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.